Okay, so what we're going to try to do today is begin discussing the nature of what? Yeah, considering that was the first source on the page. Yes.
I didn't do that.
So the question I want to figure out is to analyze the relationship between the Techelet and the Lavan. So the Gemara, right, the Mishnah at the beginning of the parak, what does it introduce? It introduces the position that what?
Techelet and Lavan are not ma'akevet.
Right, Techelet eina ma'akevet et Lavan, ve'Lavan eina ma'akevet et Techelet. Right, the blue part of the tzitzit does not prevent the what? The Techelet, okay? Does not prevent the fulfillment of the white and vice versa. And then the Gemara introduces the possibility that this is a machlokas, which we'll have to come back to, right? The position of Rebbe that they are ma'akvin zeh. Okay? Good. Now, in order to get into this, as you guys know, right, the first place you obviously going to have to figure out, if you want to figure out, thank you! Good. So how many times does the mitzvah of tzitzit appear in the Torah?
Twice.
Good. Now, the first one I hope you guys know. I purposely did not give you the psukim numbers because I figured you could figure out which ones these were. You could have opened a siddur if you didn't want to open a chumash. Because you know what it is? This is what we call the third parak of Kriyat Shema. Now what I want to do is read the psukim carefully, and when I read the psukim, I want you to tell me, based on the psukim, what would you say? Are Techelet and Lavan one mitzvah? Are they two mitzvot? Right? Keeping in mind the conceptual framework that we set up in the last few days about what it means for something to be multiple, right, or one, right, integrated conceptual units and the like. What would you say? So let's read it. You know these psukim. You know what? I definitely don't have to read these psukim. I trust that if I ask any of you to read these psukim, you'll be able to read them and analyze them. Yes? Good, Nate. You want to read it?
What? Psukim?
The psukim, the third parak of what we call the third parak of Kriyat Shema. There you go.
Yeah, it's like the two specific psukim?
No, the whole parsha.
Why?
Because I mean, you could do it balpeh because with shagar b'fiv, we paskin you can do it. It's fine. Whatever you want. Good. So what do you think? Based on that pasuk, what would you tell me? Are Techelet and Lavan, are they one mitzvah?
Two.
Good. So Yeshua says one. Why does Yeshua say one?
It's just you put it on the corner of your garment.
What?
I don't know. It's just if there were two separate ones, why would they be right next to each other in the Torah?
Alright.
It just seems kind of strange.
What?
But on the other hand, it says tzitzit, and then it says, right, make tzitzit, and then hakanaf Techelet.
Oh, good. Right. So here we have machlokas. Okay. Let's analyze what we have. So what does Gavi says? Well, it sounds like these are two distinct things. Why do they sound like they're two distinct things? Because you have this thing called tzitzit, and on the tzitzit you put a ptil Techelet. Right?
It has to be on the tzitzit.
It's a mitzvah and a half.
No, it has to be on the
No, listen, right? What Gabi is arguing is these are distinct because it's Vasulem tzitzit, and what does tzitzit sound like? Lavan. Why does it sound like Lavan? Because the tzitzit, you put the ptil Techelet on the tzitzit, which sounds like.
Sounds like it's separate from...
These are separate. Right? Now, you want to defend the position that it's one. Good. Defend that it's one.
You're putting it... It's dependent on the Lavan.
From what?
Because you have to put it on the tzitzit.
No, you have to put it on the corner.
Or on the kanaf. So...
How would you defend it? Come on.
It has to be on the corner, and the Techelet has to be on the corner. Great.
Happens to be they
Come on.
right next to each other.
And no, come on. Give me a better answer. Defend the position that it's one.
That's one.
It sounds like the Torah is trying to...
Since this is...
Vaya lachem litzitzit uritem oto.
You see one thing.
Thank you. Right? If I wanted to defend the position that these are... If I wanted to defend the position that these are integrated, that these are one, possibly even ma'akev, right? I would focus, right? I did it for David, is not here. Right? Of course, it's surprising to me that David, for all his emphasis, does not insist by going by David. But
It's like so weird. And when he leans, he says stuff.
but anyways,
Why not?
right. So if I wanted to say that these are ma'akev and they're one mitzvah, I would focus on oto. Right. That which is called tzitzit is the whole thing together. Techelet plus lavan is oto, which is it.
Right, it's one chapter of tzitzis.
Correct.
Made up of.
If I wanted, on the other hand, to argue that these are right separate, then I would focus on the formulation of
Tzitzit.
tzitzit hakanaf til techelet.
Just on the
Good.
Put it Techelet, yeah.
Good. So keep that in mind, right? These two possibilities, okay? Now we're going to analyze this question several times as we go through the perek. It's going to come up multiple times, but I want to start with a machlokes about how many strings do you put? How many techelet strings do you put? So, how many techelet strings do you put?
When you say strings, what do you mean? Like
How many?
Strings or full strings?
Strings.
Yeah.
Tell me. Okay.
Okay, so one person says one.
Okay.
Don't tell me one person.
Like
Okay, the rabbit says
ready.
1 for 4.
Like what
Okay.
would you define this as? 4 strings or 8 strings?
That's the question.
Okay.
So the rabbit says it's 1 out of 4.
Because if you're going to do it, read it to me. What does the Ravid say? Which Ravid?
Oh, I don't know. I just know the response here.
Read it for me. Read the Ravid for me. You're right. Now read it for me.
The rabbit's in the back of the Gemara.
No, the Ravid on the Rambam.
Yeah.
What?
The Ravid writes on the Rambam. You knew that.
Darius, can you turn off my Torah?
Is it in the blue ones? Is the Ravid in the blue ones? Yeah? Okay, good. So Kalev, take it. Kalev, sorry. Joel, take it.
Okay, we're in.
This is just my subconscious way of getting you back in the discussion, yeah.
Ava?
How's Shabbos Tavav going?
Where are we? Good.
It is a good lumdish page.
She's an Ava, right?
It's great. It's great. It's going. Okay, good. Good.
Page.
Aleph Vav and Tzitzit.
Aleph, okay.
Ash, you want to read it?
Kate's on.
Okay, well, how about one of you take the Rambam, one of you take the Ravid.
Page.
It's 195.
Good. So who wants to take the Rambam, who wants to take the Ravid? One of you take the Rambam, one take the
I hold
Ravid.
the rabbit, so I'll do the
Good. So you take the Rambam.
Okay, Kate's on.
You don't hold by the
And
round.
Kate's on Tzitzit. What's the case to make Tzitzit? מתחיל מזווית של טלית שהיא סוף הארי ומרחיק ממנה על 3 אצבעות למעלה. ולא פחות מקשר דודו ומכניס שם 4 חוטים. Should I just read the whole thing or should I translate as I go?
I think I actually put Aleph. Oh, I put Aleph through Vav. Look at that. I said 6
Aleph
halachot.
through Vav. Should I start?
What?
Should I start at Aleph then?
What is it? 195 in this one?
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, you know, let's quickly read the first few halachot. Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
Wait, but
Mitzvah.
yes, there it is.
Not Stein.
One second, go.
It's
Right?
Vasechat.
Okay, go.
Yeah, Mitzvah Seachad.
According to Brother
הענף
Rambam.
שעושים על כנף הבגד מימין הבגד הוא הנקרא ציצית מפני שהוא דומה לציצית הראש וככני לציצית ראשי וזה הענף הוא הנקרא לבן מפני שאנו מצווים לצבאו ואין מלכות הענן מעיין מן התורה.
Hanaf.
הענף is corner?
Yeah, right. It's on the Hanaf, right? So these tzitzit, right? So he says there's actually no number in that Torah, right? Why is it called Lavan? So he says Lavan doesn't mean Lavan. What does Lavan mean?
Colored. Sorry, not sorry.
Non-colored, non-obligated to be colored. That's all it means. Good. So then what does he say?
Okay.
V'lokrin.
ולוקחים חוט צמר שנצבע כעין הרקיע וחותכים אותו על הענף וחוט זה הוא הנקרא תכלת ואין במניין הכריכות שכורך חוט זה שיעור מן התורה.
Good. So you wrap the tchelet on it, and it has no length. Good.
Right. Should I read them?
Yeah.
Right. נמצאו במצווה זו שתי צביעות שיעשה על הכנף ענף יוצא ממנו ושיכרוך על הענף חוט תכלת שנאמר בסולם ציצית וננו על ציצית הכנף בתוך התכלת. Right. So.
Right. So there are 2 mitzvot, right? Lavan and tchelet.
Ooh.
Right.
But he said
That's different than what he said in the Koteret.
No, 1 second. He didn't say there are 2 commands, not mitzvot, right? There are 2 at least components. Okay, good.
Right.
And what does he say?
התכלת אינו מעכב את הלבן, והלבן אינו מעכב את התכלת. כיצד? אז so הרי שאין לו תכלת עושה לבן לבדו, לכן אם עשה לבן ותכלת ונפסק הלבן ונשאר תכלת לבדו kasher.
Good. So the Rambam says the Techelet is not makiv at 11, 11 is not makiv at Techelet. So now what are you going to tell me? Asher is going to tell me, oh, these are two mitzvot. What is the Rambam going to say in halacha-hey? No. Aval pisha.
Aval pisha in echad mehen makiv et chaviro ein on shtin.
Right. So even though they're not makiv each other, they're two mitzvot. That's right. They're one mitzvah. They're not two mitzvot. Right. Right.
Okay, so whether you do Techelet or Lavan, you fulfill mitzvah, which is what I think he said. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So then he says,
wait. No part of that is new though. The whole mitzvah shine thing. Because when we did the Rambam earlier, we said, when we were doing the.
Of course it's not, because we already saw the Rambam in the Shoresh, so there shouldn't be a chiddush. There was a reason I set it up this way. Right? I started with the general principles of the Rambam. Now this flows from it, because according to the Rambam, they are one conceptual whole. Right? And what's his proof? Vayalachem Tzitzit. Right? What does he focus on?
The group.
Remember, we pointed out there's different places you can do it in the pasuk, but the fact that at the end of the day, the pasuk, right, all the different places where it uses singular terminology, right? That's the Rambam's basic fundamental insight. Is that it is one integrated whole. Now, what's the problem?
Tzitzit is a singular word.
No, but vahaya is singular.
Wouldn't it be
right? And oto. I mean, yes, tzitzit is singular, except. But the focus seems to be the oto vaya. But yes, tzitzit is singular, right? Right. This is what we already saw that the four tzitziot are also makev. Right. The ketzad otzeina tzitzit. So okay, so we won't get into this because we'll come back to this. So skip down to the second line from the bottom. Right, and the Rambam says 1 and 7. Right, 1 and 7. Right, 1 half string is Techelet. 1 and 7. 1 half string is Techelet and 7. That's the Rambam's position.
How do you do that?
I guess you
1 half string.
And then you dye it with Techelet.
Correct. You dye half a string Techelet. Right?
That's very hard to do.
Not at all. You ever see the Taimani ones? Right, where they have a million little circles? That's Rambam Tzitzit.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
You know what I'm talking about? No?
I have a friend in Pittsburgh who sells it. He hates doing that.
Right, Rambam Tzitzit have...
all those, it's like 17 different things of like 3 little circles.
Well, it's not 17, but yeah.
3 little circles at a time.
It's never 17. It can be different numbers, but it's never 17. Between 7 and 13, but okay, fine. Okay, so the Rambam says it is
1 and 7.
1 and 7, right? 1 half string is Techelet. Good, Asher, what does the Ravid hold?
From Vayalavan, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
What does he say? You know it, so first tell me outside what he says.
He says 1 and 4.
Do you have Rambam Tzitzit or Techelet? Do you have Techelet B'chol?
Yeah.
Do you have Rambam?
Yeah.
Okay. They need to say, he doesn't know what Rambam is.
I have it on my talis now.
Oh, you don't have your talis here.
I do actually upstairs. You want me to bring it?
Yeah, if you don't mind. That'd be great, actually.
Yeah, so the Ravid holds 1 and 4.
Good. So now read it inside.
From Vayalavan.
He just says, Amar Avraham.
Amar Avraham.
Ta'ud is it?
Shnayim shel Techelet ve'ashisha levinim.
Right, 2 and 6, meaning 1 out of 4.
But it's specific. The thing is those aren't actually the same. Mathematically, they are. 1 out of 4 does equal 2 out of 8.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
But conceptually,
I'm pretty sure I learned that when I first learned fractions.
But conceptually, they're different because it's not 2 half.
Correct. It's 1 string.
It's a full string out of 4 strings.
Correct. Yeah. But he's being descriptive. I don't know if he's conceptually being right. It's 2 out of 8, but it's 1 string. 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. What is the third position?
The Ramban.
Rashi and Tosfos. What does Rashi say? What does Rashi say?
Rashi says 2 out of 4.
Thank you. Right? Rashi says, "V'avogav mitzvah techelet shnei chutin b'tzitzit nirshal kaman."
It's also Mishnah Berurah.
Right?
2 out of 4.
Good. So as Kalev, why do I keep saying this? As Joel says correctly, right? I don't know why I keep doing this. Right? Correctly. And Rosh Hashanah points it out. There is good reason to believe that we actually paskin like Rashi. That's Rosh Hashanah's argument because many of the Nosei Kilm and Shulchan Aruch paskin this way in the sugi of Gardumin, which we'll get to on the next Amud. On Lavan Chesed Beis, but we're not there yet. Good, thank you for show and tell. Here. Show Yoshua first. That's what Rambam looks like. Okay? See?
Wait, but wait, Rashi holds 4 out of 8.
Correct.
It's like half the.
And Joel is correct. That so does Mr. Brura. So does Shulchan Aruch seem to hold that way.
But
Don't judge me on
Yes.
the
They
tips,
learned that
okay,
from
guys? Very
the
It's too late.
They don't just make that up. I'm assuming
It's Rashi. I just read it. Rashi in the
I'm
Gemara.
saying I'm assuming that Mishnah Berurah.
It's passing Rashi. Yeah, of course.
It's not
Rashi and Tosfos.
happened to pass that.
Correct. And Tosfos holds the way also. Right? Tosfos says, look at the beginning of Tosfos. Mitzvah, let's say, Shnei chutin techelet, Shnei chutei lavan Pt1. Okay, good.
Because like each one of these is like
So now,
how many strings? 2, 3, 4, 8.
How many? Each individual thing is a.
I think it's 3.
each individual.
I believe it's 3.
Okay.
Yeah, sure,
It starts.
because I believe it's 2.
Yeah, it starts tying in, and then.
Okay, guys.
entire thing is-
So let us.
Doesn't coil properly.
Okay,
Doesn't coil.
guys. So, okay, let's try to analyze these sheet up more carefully, guys. Let's try to analyze these sheet up more carefully. So now, if our fundamental question is
You want to say?
first, right, the how many mitzvahs question, but as the Rambam notes, that's not really what we're asking. We're asking the connection between Tchilas and Lavan. Right? Let's try to, with those two perspectives, let's try to analyze the 3 shitos of the Rambam, the Ravid, and Rashi Tosfos.
What are those 2?
So tell me, justify to me the position of
How does that work?
It's from a.
Rambam.
Not seal that you want.
So meaning what?
If he's counting each corner has 8 strings instead of 4,
I think that
then the seal would just be
Good. Now, what does the Rambam think about the connection conceptually between Techelet and Lavan?
One mitzvah.
what? Where the.
They're one mitzvah. Good. And now, why does he think you need 1 out of 8? What does that tell you about the connection between Techelet and Lavan?
Tchelas is a modifier on the Lavan.
Not a modifier. What does that even mean? What is it? The Rambam says it. I don't have to guess.
C.
What does he say?
Which halacha?
What does he say?
We're talking about Lavan.
Right? What does the Rambam say? Let's use the Rambam's language. He says, even though, right? What is it? It is.
Where are you reading from?
Let's be careful, right? He says in halacha hey that it's only 1 mitzvah, but he gives you the answer earlier as to how he could view it as 1 mitzvah. What's the real key for the Rambam? Halacha Gimel. What does he say in halacha Gimel? But what does he say in halacha Gimel? How does he conceptually view Techelet?
It's one thing.
Halacha Gimel.
I read that from Halacha Gimel.
Sheyichroch al ha'anaf chut Techelet. The mitzvah is to take the tzitzit, and the Techelet is what?
1 food? No.
According to the Rambam, what is the ikar of tzitzit?
The Lavan.
The lavan. What is the role of the Techelet?
It's additional. It's
To be koreich, the lavan, right? To wrap the white. That's what happens in that tzitzit, right? Tzitzit, right? Who else holds this fundamentally? The Ravid. What's the only machlokas Rambam and Ravid?
1 string, 2 strings.
Good, right? The only question is when you say it wraps, what do you mean it wraps? Right? Do you mean it's 1/2 string or 1 whole string? But both of them seem to hold. That fundamentally, what's the ikar in tzitzit? Right? So they both think it's 1 mitzvah, right? But they're not ma'akiv each other. Why? Presumably, according to the Rambam, why are they not ma'akiv each other? Because what's really tzitzit according to the Rambam?
The white.
The white. what's the role of the Techelet?
To wrap.
To wrap. And if you can't wrap it, so what's the halacha?
Then it has to be long.
Just wrap it.
So then you're still Yotze, but you're lacking the wrapping. And then is it conceptually, right? The Rambam works together. The Rambam thinks it's one mitzvah. Why is it one mitzvah? Because Bikaron. The ikar of tzitzis is Lavan. The role of Techelet is to wrap. What's the result? One integrated whole called Tzitzit. And what happens if you don't have Techelet? Then what do you have?
You have tzitzit.
You have unwrapped Tzitzit. Is that Yotze?
Yes.
Yes, that's how the Rambam understands Eina Ma'akev Zeh Zeh. It's one integrated whole. The best way to do it is to be Korech Lavan. If you can't be Korech Lavan, so it's still Tzitzit.
I'm also wrapped in the tzitzit.
No, you're not. According to the Rambam, the Techelet does all the wrapping. The white does no wrapping. The Techelet does all the wrapping. Wraps. The Techelet wraps around the
So
Lavan.
that's probably the
Correct.
long string.
Yeah, that's
Yes, there's a long. Yeah, there's
Isn't
long.
one of the other isn't one of the functions of Techelet that you're supposed to be able to distinguish between?
Oh, hold it. Okay, guys.
I just have more knots also.
Guys, what about Rashi? What does Rashi think?
So it's obviously not
Metaphor is sketchy.
So he showed, then Rashi holds that they're, whether or not he holds that they're one mitzvah or two mitzvahs, he says that it says Techeles and Lavan, so you have half Techeles, half Lavan.
Good. Rashi seems to think that these aren't just integrated. What are they?
They're
Two
separate
separate
things that come together.
Okay, so let's be very careful. He clearly thinks that what is tzitzit?
Two mitzvahs.
Techelet.
Techelet plus Lavan. Not Lavan, which is wrapped by Techelet, but Techelet plus Lavan. Right? That's Rashi. Right?
You switch the order, is there any meaning to it?
No, not at all. Lavan plus Techelet, Techelet plus Lavan doesn't matter. Right? That's the point.
And what does he do with just the single sealed Techelet?
Okay, so the end's good. So let's hold it for a moment. So how is now Tosfos gets into this a little bit more. Let's look at Tosfos. Now, what's the problem though? Remember, the line in the Mishnah that Rashi and Tosfos are commenting on is good. So now I ask you, what does it mean a Techelet el Ma'akev et Lavan? How many strings do you have if there are no Techelet? What do you think?
Well, according to Rashi Tosos, you have 2. According to the Rambam, you have 7. According to Ravid, you have 6.
Do you? How many strings? Not how many white strings. How many strings do you have in your tzitzit?
Oh, still 8.
Why?
Or 4.
Really? Look at the next line.
Because you just
Look at the next line. Tefillah shel yad eina ma'akevet et shel rosh, v'shel rosh eina ma'akevet shel yad. The tefillin shel rosh is not ma'akev the yad, and vice versa. What does that mean?
that if you're not wearing your tefillin shal yad, you can still wear your tefillin shal yad.
Good. So now try again. What does it mean? Tchelet elam ma'akevet 11. What should it mean? That if you don't have tchelet, how many strings do you have according to Rashi?
2.
2.
Oh, wait.
Total.
Right, yeah, 2.
Total.
And the Rambam
But that's not what Rashi says though.
Oh, but that's not what Rashi says. Very good. What does Rashi say?
He says if all 4 of them are tchelet or all 4 of them are lavan.
Good. Who doesn't like this?
Rambam.
Tosfos, thank you. Right? Tosfos doesn't like it. Why doesn't Tosfos like it? Look at Tosfos. Why doesn't Tosfos like it?
Judaism.
Umashim lechaora de'ein ze ma'akev et zeh shem hitel shnei chutin min ha'echet yatza. What this sounds like is that if you, what does it mean, ma'akev?
They're not
That if you hold like Rashi, that tchelet, there's 2 white, 2 blue, that if you don't have tchelet, how many tzitziot do you have total? 2 white strings, zeh, folded over, so 4. Right? Right? And what's the problem? Who doesn't hold this way?
Tosfos.
No, Tosfos goes back and forth on this, and that's the very long Tosfos, which I won't read everything, but who doesn't hold of it? Rashi. Right? Rashi doesn't. So now, let's conceptually analyze the shitot. According to the Rambam, what would you think? Without tchelet, how many strings should you have?
7.
8. 8, good. 8. Why would you think 8?
You have full tzitzis, and what is tchelet? Tchelet is just a love and
Good, because the Rambam thinks conceptually that the word, that the ikar of tzitzit is lavan, the role of the tchelet is to wrap. If you don't have tchelet, you don't have tchelet. But fundamentally, what is tzitzit?
I understand the Rambam Ravid now.
One second. Right? What about the Ravid? What would you think according to the Ravid?
Still 8.
Probably still 8. What about Rashi?
The only thing he changes from the Rambam.
Good. So now explain to me Rashi. Who is conceptually clear? The Rambam, the Ravid, and Tosfos. and Tosfot.
Right, because why is Rashi having...
Right, Tosfot also makes sense, because Tosfot conceptually says what? What is Tzitzit? Techelet Lavan equally. Why does Tosfot think that? So look at the end of Tosfos. So look at towards the end of Tosfos.
Where?
So V'im Tomar, like 12 lines up from the bottom. Right, I wanted you to read the whole Tosfos, but I'm not going to read all of it in Shir, despite what Gavi thought I was going to do. I'm not. Tosfos tells you his svara. He says V'im Tomar Uminalan Be'inan Shnei Chutin Lavan Ushnei Chutin Techelet. How do you know that it's 2 and 2? Maybe it's 1 and 3. What does he say? V'yishlomar kevan detrei minei bayrachmana svarahu shtei shavin. If the Torah needs 2 things, logically they should be equal. Because how does it read the pasuk?
So once you have
Good, right?
So fine. So you were calling him equal.
So Tosfos makes sense also, right? Meaning, well, 1 second. So now they all seem to hold that this is 1 mitzvah,
Sure.
right? Because in the end of the day, they're. But the question for them is, what?
I don't think Rashi seems to hold 1 mitzvah.
Well, okay.
Because he has the whole thing where if you can have 4 Lavan or 4.
Good. So now let's right. So again, Rambam, Ravid makes sense.
Sure.
Tosfos makes sense. Tosfos is conceptually consistent. Tosfos says Techelet and Lavan are equal, and therefore when it says Ma'akev or Ein Ma'akev, what it means is 2 strings total that are white, and no Techelet whatsoever. That's fine. So 2, you'll just have 2 doubled over as 4. How can you say that you need 2, which is 4, and yet say that if I lack Techelet, I should have 4/8 white strings?
Because they're 2 mitzvahs.
Are they? But where does it come from?
Rashi seems to be saying that.
Right, but this is weird, right? Meaning, it's weird. No? Right, Rashi's weird because...
It's weird to us because that's not what we do.
No, we actually do, we actually do Rashi.
Well, because we have 4 Lavan.
Who doesn't have Techelet? Who doesn't wear Techelet? Most of you. How many strings do you have?
I mean, I went to that one.
Good, so who are you passing like? Rashi, thank you. Rashi. Good, you're all passing at Rashi. That's very good.
The rabbit.
So now, right? So now, conceptually, explain it to me. Come on.
Explain which one.
So what do you do if you don't know how to explain it conceptually? How would you explain Rashi seeming to hold of 2 different formulations? On the one hand, he requires 4 and 4, 2 and 2, however you want to look at it, which implies that these are equivalent.
So it's similar to Tosfos.
Mitzad Sheni, right?
Equivalent.
No! Because Tosfos really holds their equivalent, and therefore he holds that if you don't have Techelet, what it means they're equivalent is
You just have 2 strings.
you just have 2 strings. But Rashi holds they're equivalent, and yet if you don't have Techelet, you can replace it with Lavan.
No,
If you explain...
How does Rashi hold both things? Explain to me how Rashi thinks. How does Rashi hold that Techelet and Lavan are equal, but if I don't have Techelet, then I can just replace the Techelet with Lavan?
Because they're equal. If
they're equal, then when you don't have Techelet, you should have nothing. Tosfot.
If you're equal, then when you put Techelet, if you're having Techelet and you're having Lavan, then you put them half and half. But if you don't have Techelet...
Why? Mechatesi. The words Tzitzit, according to Tosfot, mean Lavan plus Techelet. And if you don't have Techelet, then you only have Lavan. How could it be that you hold Techelet and Lavan are equivalent, but when I don't have Techelet, I don't get rid of it, I turn it into Lavan? Because that implies that what? That which is Iker?
The Lavan.
Lavan. Then why do I need 2 and 2?
But if you don't have Lavan, then Techelet, you fill it with Techelet according to Rashi.
And what's the halachic status of that?
According to Rashi.
Non-Techelet. Good, but why?
Because to him they're both the Ikarim.
Why? How? No, they're not.
Why?
Because you don't...
Maybe
Right.
because the
It's that wait. It's that there's 1 mitzvah, and that's to have 4 strings. There's also, it says to have Techelet and Lavan, right? So we do half and half. But if you don't have one of them, you still have to have the 4 strings of tzitzit.
Good, why?
Because
4 strings make tzitzit.
Because it says in the psukim.
Which pasuk? Which one?
It says al arba kanfot kashrut-kosher.
No. This is the point the Rav makes, because you're forgetting, people, that what? Dvarim, Perek Chav Bet, Pasuk Yud Bet. The second time Tzitzit comes up, what does it say? Dvarim Chav Bet Yud Bet.
Gedilim tasel lach al arba kanfos kashrut-kosher techaseba.
Right? Gedilim tasel lach arba kanfos kashrut-kosher techaseba. What is missing completely? Or Lavan. What do you have? Gidilim, right? Tzitzit. So the Rav argues, you know what Rashi thinks? Right? The Rambam is easy. What does the Rambam think? The Rambam thinks that what is Tzitzit definitionally? Lavan. What's the role of Techelet? To be the korech the Lavan. Right? To wrap the Lavan. Right? This is all based on a netziv. Right? The Rav just sort of fleshes it out. Right? That the word Tzitzit means Lavan. The role of Techelet is to be korech. Right? The reason that they're conceptually different yet one mitzvah is because of this, right? Really, right? Tzitzit is white. There's a mitzvah to be korech. If you don't have the Techelet, so fine. So then you just have the strings unwrapped, right? Unwrapped by the Techelet, big deal. So now ma'akev zed zed, because bikaram, the definition of the word tzitzit is white, right? But the ikar is white, and then you're supposed to wrap it, and then the result is also tzitzit. Ravid the same.
Where in the Torah does it say Lavan?
Well, it's non-Techelet. Remember, that's what the Rambam says. Lavan doesn't mean white. Lavan means no chiyuv to make it Techelet.
Lavan harami.
Yeah, I was hoping.
Right? What does the Rambam say? The Rambam says, the Rambam's clear. Lavan just means non-Techelet. That's all it means.
Yeah,
right? That it doesn't have a chiyuv for Techelet.
If you just take the easier route then and just say like the Techelet is kind of like an added status upon the white.
Exactly.
And
so what does he say? Right? So Rashi, right? Meaning, according to the Rambam, it's clear. Tzitzit means the strings, and then there's a mitzvah that one of the strings should wrap the others, meaning the non-Techelet. Right? And therefore, I don't have Techelet, what do? I just don't wrap. Zeo, I don't have the color wrap. Fine. According to
if you don't have Techelet, you just leave them hingy strings.
So we wrap it differently. Yeah, you actually don't. Did you see his?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did it look anything like yours?
No.
No, you know why?
Because it's different sock.
No. Because without Techelet, we don't have any, right? The way we do krichot are completely different. That's exactly the way the Rambam holds. No, that's what the Rambam holds. That if you have Techelet, you wrap. If you don't have Techelet, you tie it totally differently. Inochanami.
But they're still wrapping.
They're knotted. They're not wrapped in the same way.
Knots,
yeah, the Rambam. So it's actually, but it's different, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to this. I can't get into it yet, so I'm holding off in it. But yes, everything I'm about to say, keep in mind, because this is going to affect how you tie. It's going to affect everything, right? These questions, right? Set up the next blot or two, or 6, whatever, in different ways. Mostly the next blot or two. Fine. According to Tosfos, he thinks, right, the opposite extreme of the Rambam, right, which is, right, tzitzit means 2 equivalent components, right? Now maybe the Rambam would actually, Tosfos would actually think the shtei mitzvah, for all I know, right? Because he thinks if I don't have Techelet, so I put 2, right? I just have 2 Lavan, zeo. I leave it out, right? I mamish leave it out, right? But Rashi, the way the Rav argues is like this, and I think it's a good formulation. The pasuk in Dvarim tells you that what fundamentally is the mitzvah of tzitzit? Strings. Gedilin dazelach. The whole notion of Lavan, Techelet is the entire construct is superimposed. Right? Meaning, we're talking about is the ikar Lavan, is the ikar Techelet. Rashi doesn't think that. Rashi thinks the ikar is strings.
So what if you
Gedilim.
What if you just
the entire construct. Oh, and so what does Rashi think about all Techelet?
8 Techelet.
What does he think? Good. Rashi Lishitaso. What exactly does he think? Continue in Rashi. V'avad arba'atan Techelet o arba'atan Lavan yatsa. And therefore Rashi Lishitato holds if you have 8 white, are you Yotze?
Yes.
Yotze. If you have 8 Techelet, are you Yotze?
Yes.
Yes. Why would you say that?
Because they're all strings.
Bidyuk, right? Because Rashi thinks that you learn from the 2 parashut in the Torah. From Gedilim Tasalach, you learn that the definition of tzitzit is fundamentally strings. 4 strings. Zeu. Right? what you learn from the second parsha is that
It's just lavan, chelas, mixture.
good. So conceptually, what are the models that you have? So you have, again, let's try again. According to the Rav, Rashi holds that what does the word tzitzit mean at its core definition? String, right? String. Zeu gedilim taselach. Right? Make strings. Within that construct, what does Rashi think? That Techelet and Lavan are equivalent. And therefore, there are two nafkaminas to that. One is that he thinks, how many white do you have and how many blue do you have? Two and two. And what does he think the words Ein Ma'akev means?
That if you don't have one, you just
do
replace
four
it
of the, you do complete of the other. Right? That Rashi holds, right? But how can Rashi hold that you could have 8 of white or 8 of Techelet or 4 and 4, however you want to look at it?
Incomplete would be worse.
Because what does he think?
No,
Because
either 8 white and 8 Techelet, right? 8 or 8.
Oh, 8 or.
8 or.
No,
8 or. 8 or. Right? Why does Rashi hold that? Again, what?
In theory, Rashi could agree with everyone because he could say, well, it depends what, if you only have, let's say, one blue string, so you would do that.
No, but he clearly holds the ideal is 2 and 2.
Yeah, he holds that that's the ideal.
But why does he think that? Because he thinks, right, he thinks that the definition of tzitzit is just strings. Then the whole construct of Lavan and Techelet is superimposed on that, right? And within that, he thinks tzitzit means Lavan plus Techelet, right? The Rambam and Ravid seem to hold that what is tzitzit? Lavan. What is the role of Techelet?
The wrapper.
Wrapper. Right? Not string plus wrap, but Lavan plus wrap. And therefore, Ein Ma'akev for them is just going to be, don't have Techelet, but still have Lavan. But for them, it's not because the definition is string. Right? So, I will point out, some of this is from the Rav, some of it is I'm tweaking it a bit myself, but fundamentally, right, the basic ideas are Netziv, the Rav combination, okay? They're not this exact formulation, okay? But, and according to, that's the Rambam and the Ravid. What about Tosfos? The only machlokas Rambam Ravid is, did we mean one full string, one half string? Right? What does Tosfos think? Right, Tosfos is the opposite extreme. What does Tosfos think? What's the definition of tzitzit?
Having Techelet
plus Lavan.
A specific number.
Right, meaning Techelet and Lavan are both definitional. Right, not strings, not Lavan which is wrapped, but Techelet plus Lavan, each of them are equivalently definitional. Right?
What does that mean?
Right, meaning they are both, right?
Fine. Okay.
No, meaning, no, they're not Ma'akev.
Oh.
No, he says they're not, no, but they're both, meaning they both have an independent identity, such that if you don't have Techelet, then you have Lavan by itself. I mean, you can't replace, according to Rashi, if I don't have Techelet, so I have all Lavan because there's the basic definition of tzitzit is strings. Techelet and Lavan is superimposed, right? The notion that the strings have colors is a second tier, right? And therefore I know I need 8 strings. What?
To be like completely Makayim.
Correct. The ideal way is that I should have Lavan plus Techelet.
Yeah.
Right? But if I don't, so I still stick with 8 Lavan or 8 Techelet. Right? Why? Because Rashi thinks the definition is string. Okay. Then the extent to which I superimpose the model of whether those strings are Techelet and Lavan is equivalent to each other. Neither of them are more definitional than tzitzit. The definition of tzitzit are strings. Right? And then the role, the contribution of Lavan and Techelet is equivalent. Right? Right, and therefore, if ideal is 2 and 2, and if I don't have Techelet, I do all Lavan. If I don't have Lavan, I do all Techelet.
Right, but Rambam would say they're not equivalent.
Correct. He would say that the definition of tzitzit is
It's
fundamentally it's Lavan, and the ideal way to be Makayim the mitzvah of Lavan is to wrap it with Techelet.
okay.
Right? But it's a din of Korech.
Right, strings are in Rambam.
Right? But for him, the definition is white, not string. Right? For Rashi, the definition is string. Right? The superimposition of white and blue are equivalent, meaning they both have, right? They're both, these strings ideally should be a mix of white and blue. If I don't have white, I do all blue. I don't have blue, I do all white. Right? That's Rashi. Rambam says, no, the definition is white. Right? Tzitzit means white. And then I'm korech that. Right? I'm korech that. The role of Techelet is to wrap the tzitzit.
And then Tosfos on Rashi, so then it's 2.
And now what about Tosfos? But now Tosfos thinks no. The definition of tzitzit is blue and white.
Oh, it's a mix. Yeah.
Correct. That the definition of it, right? So again.
So then, what is he doing? What did Tosfot do with Dilim then?
So maybe he thinks that the first parsha defined that the second parsha is understood in light of the first parsha, right? Dilim means the strings that we already discussed, right? In Bamidbar or something like that, right? Right. But I think those are the three fundamental models that we have.
And then
Ravid
is the same as Rambam.
I think, right, the Rav argues and the Netziv argues this, that the Ravid and... I think the Netziv is right. The Netziv argues the Rambam and the Ravid are basically the same. They just quibble on whether, right, whether when you say it's one, what you mean is one half or one whole, right?
Okay, yeah. That's
right.
a different argument than this.
Correct, yeah. Right? Then he argues that's a much more localized machloket within that, which is, right...
Seems right.
Yeah, I tend to think that's true. Now, I will just point out, and maybe we'll stop with this today, because, no, I'll do 2 more points today, okay? Rabbeinu Bachya seems to have a very different formulation of this.
I put him on the Rambam shelf. Does that make sense?
Rabbeinu Bachya, there's a parish on the Torah.
When did he live?
Yeah, him.
When did he live?
Yeah.
He's a parish on the Torah. And he also has Kisvei. I don't know which one we have. I assume we have on the Torah.
No.
You put it with Ramban or Rambam?
He's I put him on he's on the same shelf as the Rambam, but all the way in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
I don't think the
Wait, what did he live?
I don't think the one that we have is on.
Bachya, 13th century, I think.
Okay. So that's century. Yeah.
Okay.
2 centuries.
Now, the Karen Ora also basically says what I said, that according to Rashi, right, what's definitional is 4 of any color, right? That's how he understands this. The Rashba, I didn't give it to you, but the Rashba explains, let me say this outside first. The Rashba explains the machlokes of Ma'akev Zed as follows. He says, why would you say that Techelet is one mitzvah? Right? Why would you say it's one integrated unit? Because of the oto, right? We already saw that, Josh, for the singular, right? But the opposite extreme is to say that oto refers to only one component, the part that you think is central, right? Right, meaning one of 2. Right, meaning the way we paskin seems to be that oto means that the 2 integrate into 1. But the other way to view it is that oto means only one of the 2 components is definitional. And therefore it's the only thing we refer to.
What would the other side say to...
You know what, we'll come back, you know what, maybe tomorrow read the Rashba. We'll come back to Rashba, okay?
If you say that oto means that it's one full entity, then what would the other side say to that?
Let's do it tomorrow. We'll read the Rashba tomorrow, okay? You know what, he actually makes a very sharp point. I want you to see it inside the Rashba tomorrow. Just note that down for yourselves. Look at the Rashba. Let me make 2 more points today. One is from the Ramban, is that I think that this machlokes plays out in Parshanut, also on the machshavik level. Someone brought up machshava, so I'll throw it out to you. Because I think in this case, the way you actually understand it conceptually reflects the way you think about it halachically, okay? Look at number 2 at the Ramban, okay? The Ramban quotes Rashi. He says, okay? The point of tzitzit, you're reminded about to not forget Shabbos or other mitzvot. The reason he brings up Shabbos is because the parsha before was the Mekosher Sheitzim, who violated Shabbos, fine. V'tama zikaron hazeh sheyeh b'tzitzit l'chol mitzvot. Katav Rashi, v'pnei aminyan shel tzitzit b'gematria 608 chutin v'chamisha ksharim arei taryag. Right, Rashi famously says, right, that how does it remind you about the whole Torah? Because the gematria of tzitzit is 606. There are 8 strings and 5 knots. Is 613.
No, just equals 600.
So he says, "V'lo avinoti zeh." Sorry, 600, right? 600. So first of all, Ramban says it's not true because it's written in the Torah without a second yud, so it's 590. We'll get to this, that Beit Hillel thinks you only have 3 strings, not 4. We haven't gone there yet. And Midaraisa, you only need 2 knots. Okay, all these are a problem.
Why 2 during?
What? Again, all this are later. But I want to point just one point. He says, look down to 3 lines from the bottom. Aval hazikaron hu b'churat chelet. Shomez l'midah kol lelet hakol shivachol v'tachlit hakol. Said, what is the reminder according to Ramban? The Techelet. The Techelet. V'lachein amar u'zchartem et kol shi mitzvat Hashem v'zeh omer mipnei she'atchelet dom l'yam v'yam dom l'rakia v'rakia dom l'kisi hakavod v'chulei. Good. Machshavikli. Why does Rashi have to say what he says? Why does Rashi have to say that the zikaron, with all the questions Ramban, the strings? Correct, because Rashi thinks that you don't need Techelet dafka, you don't need Lavan dafka. He thinks that it's one integrated. Fundamentally, it's just strings, and then ideally you should have Lavan but Techelet. If you don't have Lavan, so have all Techelet. If you don't have Techelet, all have a Lavan. But therefore, Rashi thinks that what does the zikaron have to be tied to? The strings. Right? Okay, sorry, pun not intended. To the strings.
Yeah.
Right? What is the Ramban? Who does the Ramban work with conceptually? I would say the Rambam. Right? That you have tzitzit, and then you put a zikaron on top of it. Right? Meaning the point is... Right, I would think, right? Meaning that that you put this, right, reminder on top of the right, on top of the literally on top, exactly, right?
Okay.
I think, right? I think it actually works machshavically well.
How else you can, yeah.
Okay. One last point is that Rabbeinu Bachya, or Bachaye, however you want to pronounce it, seems to have a very different understanding of this. Again, my voice is starting to hurt me, so I'm going to have to stop. But he says. Right, he says nowadays we don't have tchelet. Okay, so we do white by itself. We will do eventually whether our tchelet is not. We're going to the tchelet factory also, but we'll do the sugya in my shir.
Because half the world wears it, half doesn't, or whatever.
We're going to do this. I mean, I don't know if your shir is doing it. My shir is doing it, and we're all going to the tchelet factory later in the year. So we'll do it. Okay, fine. The kaim alon at tchelet makav lava. V'chein alavan makav at tchelet. Klomar shemasa lavan at tchelet v'nifsak alavan v'mitmair at knaf v'nishar tchelet levado kasher. He says what that means is if you put both and then the white rips and what's left is the tchelet, it's kosher. V'halavan in chutei ha'anaf she'osin al knaf beged mimin ha'beged v'nekrei tzitzit levishu doma letzitzit harosh. The white is called tzitzit. Okay. Vaycheni v'tzitzit roshi. Va'anav ze nikra lavan. Levi she'enanu mitzuvin litzovo. Right? And it's lavan because we don't have to color it. Va'af al pi she'en echad mehem me'akev chaveiro enan mishtei mitzvot el mitzvah echad. Even though they're not ma'akev, there's still only one mitzvah. Va'lovesh talit sheish bo lavan o tchelet o shneim ke'echad arei ze ki'eh mitzvah raseh echad. Whether you wear it with white and tchelet, just lavan, you're yotzei. Shnamar.
Sounds more like the Rambam's ideologies.
Right, so until now, this is all Rambam. Right? The mitzvah is lavan. Right? Fundamentally, the word tzitzit means lavan, and the mitzvah is to have, ideally, tchelet, whatever, right? It sounds mostly Rambam-like, though he does have a bit of Rashi sounding in there. That's true, but the next line is what's weird. V'inei tzitzit v'atchelet b'dimyon halulav v'etrog. Tzitzit and tchelet are like the arba minim. Ukshem shalulav v'etrog makvin ze et ze. Keina tzitzit v'atchelet makvin ze et ze. Bisman shayat tchelet matzui. Then he comes up with this crazy suggestion, which is, and if you can explain this, then tell me tomorrow. But think about it overnight. He says, but if there's tchelet around and you don't use it, then what? You're not yotzei. But now that we don't have tchelet, you just put white because that's the main part. So now, if anyone understands what I just read, let me know tomorrow, right? Which is, he says, he seems to have it both ways.
But if you don't do it.
Correct. He says, on the one hand, if I don't have tchelet, I can put a lavan, because what does the word tzitzit mean? Lavan. But if I have tchelet and I choose not to put it, then it's ma'akev. Good. Someone think about that. See if you have a formulation of Rabbeinu Bachya, and tell me, because that seems to be a totally different shita, different than anything we discussed. Tell me tomorrow. My throat is really killing me. So tomorrow, what I want you to do: think about Rabbeinu Bachya, read the Rashba, and then read 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are all both drushot and machshavik issues that point to the directions of definitions of tzitzit, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Okay.